Boom! What's going on, world? It's your man Pat Caesar LLC, Towing and Roadside Services. I'm up here at Caesar Garage right now, working on the Battle and working on Samson. Actually, I'm just doing an oil change on Samson. Got that oil right there. I'm actually almost done. I was thinking to myself, man, I got this homie that he want to tow. He wants to be in the industry, and I said, listen, man, you got a good situation going on. You got a good job. You know, you make decent money, you get family time, you know. I said, listen, I'm gonna make a whole video about this. So this video is about, let's just call it 5 reasons why you may actually be better as an employee than you would be as a self-employed entrepreneur. Let's talk about some things. We're gonna get into it, man. So I'm up here at the shop, man. I'm taking a break on Samson right now. I gotta go over some fluids and all that good jazz. And so either way, I'm telling this homie, I'm like, dog, listen, there's some things that you probably need to consider before jumping into this entrepreneur space. You know, he's a good worker. To me, he honestly seems to take more care, or publicly takes more care of the owner's equipment than the owner does. But at the same time, I'm like, well, he's getting paid to do it. Even though it seemed like he would do it even if he wasn't getting paid for it, he cares about the stuff. But the crazy thing is, I'm like, yo, you don't know what it's like when you have to front the money to take care of the equipment plus pay somebody to do it. Like, for instance, somebody cuts my grass. I don't have to buy the lawnmower and then pay them to cut the grass. Even though I might save money in the long term, and I got the storage of it, I have the maintenance of it, I have the fuel to put inside of it, and it just doesn't make financial sense. So, you know, my message to all y'all out there who's thinking about the entrepreneur journey, just remember that you have to not only, you know, maintain equipment, but you have to pay somebody to also maintain the equipment. You're gonna buy the product to maintain it. You're gonna buy the product is the equipment. Then buy the products to maintain the equipment. Then pay somebody to use the stuff that you just bought to maintain it for you. I mean, it's a slippery slope. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just something to take into consideration. If you like to stay in the freshest, the newest, the nicest equipment when it comes into this whole thing, entrepreneurship may not be for you off rip. Now I'm explaining this because you can do it, don't get me wrong. Just because you don't see me doing it don't mean it is not possible. I got friends who's in nice, fresh, new trucks. They got crazy payments, but you know, that's what they choose. It does look damn good, I will give them that. But you know, it is a price to pay to come with that. So, my homie, he likes, you know, super nice things. I mean, who doesn't, right? And when you're coming out into this entrepreneurship game, you got to realize that you may not start with the newest thing. You may not start with the freshest thing. He uses his company's vehicles and makes videos with his company's vehicles. And it seems cool because their company's vehicles are newer, nicer trucks. But if you ain't coming out of the gate with, you know, 100,000, it's hard to say that you're gonna get that new nice truck. Now you can get a decent truck for sure, don't get me wrong. But to get the caliber of what an established company is, I'm gonna tell you, OG told me like this. This is how he said it, and I was like, yo, that was the realest stuff I heard when it comes to this whole thing. Your day 1 is somebody else's year 15. I'll say this again. Your day number 1 is someone else's year number 15. And what that means is you cannot compare where you're gonna be at, where they're at, to where you at right now. Last year I went to the tow show, and I ain't gonna even lie, I got in my feelings. I was like, man, these are nice new trucks, and I don't have all the available funds. I didn't have the credit then, I probably have it now. But I was like, well, I'm tired of seeing it. I'm not hating on the people. I'm happy that people that can buy it, but like, man, this is wasting my time. I mean, it's inspiration, but I'm like, I don't need no more inspiration. I'm ready to go to work. And so I went to work, and I'm still working. But I'm watching people, and you're gonna see this, and he's gonna see this, and you're gonna see there's people out there. Some people are gonna start off with a new truck. some people have really good credit. Some people are leveraging their job to finance the new truck. Some people got parents to jump off of. I mean, you don't know somebody else's situation. But if you like to stay in the newest, nicest stuff, and you're using that as a selling point into getting into entrepreneurship, just know that whoever stuff you're using, they've probably done more to establish it than what you get to see. You know, we're in the day and age where everything on the internet is real, even though it's not. But that's what people believe. Perception is reality. And the reality is, most people that you see, or most companies that you see with the newer, nicer equipment, they've probably been in business for a few years. They've probably got good credit. They might have even had the business handed down to them. Or at a minimal, somebody is giving them the actual blueprint, whether it's a business handed down or just information, to be able to go full force into it. I put out a lot of game. And I mean, if you want to go through all, 600 of my videos, pretty sure you can piece some things together. There's a method to my madness why I'm not in a new truck right now. We will get to this at a later time, but just know that if that's your goal, if that's what you want to do off rip, I promise you, you're gonna be deeply disappointed. And if you do go out to get that brand new truck or the nicer, newer truck, and you're making payments, you're gonna see how real it is gonna be for you as an entrepreneur to make payments, keep maintenance down, use the other money that you got to actually live. The business that you're about to start or wanting to start or thinking about starting, you got to remember, it is in its infancy. You don't just have a baby and then the baby goes to work. The baby has to grow up to be, an infant, and then a toddler, and then a young kid, and then a teenager, and then a young adult, and then a full adult. This takes years. This is not overnight. And if I knew what I knew then now, I would have probably done things a little bit differently as far as how much pressure I put on that newborn baby, AKA the business, before taking out all this extra stuff, because like I said, you got to pay with it somehow. Entrepreneurship might not be for you, because that is a real thought. That's a real pressure. And that is something that can really bring you down if you're not prepared for it. You have any idea how hard it is to get a loan as a self-employed person? If you don't structure your, and I've learned this from experience, if you don't structure your business properly, it's very hard to get financing. It's very hard to convince a bank, a private money lender, hard money lender, whatever, to give you money if your paperwork is not right, if you're not showing enough money. Like for instance, trying to buy a house and you're a W-2 employee, you just take your tax returns and go to the bank and say, I want to buy a house. And then they say, well, can you show us some documentation? Here it is. You copy and paste this, and this is how much you qualify for. And that's pretty much just that. When you're self-employed, it's a little bit more different, because I don't have a proof. I can show you a proof of income, but I can't show you a proof that I'm going to be in business for X amount of time. Not that you can show any more or less proof that you're going to have a job, but there's a better chance to get their return on their investment as the lender when they show that you are a steady employee for somebody, right? You can go out and get another job in the same industry, and it's not necessarily a problem. So for those who are considering, the entrepreneur route, just remember that when it comes to like borrowing and lending, the rules kind of change when you're actually self-employed versus being an employee. I subcontract out a lot of work. I don't show footage of that stuff, but I have people do jobs for me all the time. And sometimes it goes good, sometimes it don't go so good. But usually it works out pretty good. And then they get paid, and they're on a 1099. So, this next point about you being an employee versus an entrepreneur is the part that people don't consider, which I didn't really think of it myself until being in the space. I am looking to hire people who have the same drive as me, who have the same experience as me, if not more, who have the same self-motivation to go out and do the job, but wants it done in a proper way and is not necessarily looking to do it for themselves. And these people exist, but you're gonna have to pay them top dollar, because, like for instance, I'm basically unemployable. Not that I wouldn't get a job if I had to get a job, but because I know how to make money by myself, it's very hard to convince me to go work for somebody when I know I'm gonna work harder than I would if I worked by myself. I'm gonna get paid less than I would if I worked by myself, and I'm gonna get told what to do. I'm mentally unemployable because I like to go to the bathroom when I want to go to the bathroom. I like to eat when I want to eat, and I like to get paid after the job, not 2 weeks, after. And the biggest benefit, I like to spend money and then pay taxes, not work, pay taxes, and then live off what's the rest. So the hardest part about this is you're trying to mimic, and this is what I found out. I am trying to duplicate myself or find a clone of myself who wants to do the job as voraciously as me, as good as me, and with the same, customer service as me, without wanting to be self-employed. And at that point, it almost makes more sense to just be self-employed, because I'm asking for the same thing that I deliver, but for less money. You see what I'm saying? I don't think people take that part into consideration. If you're a really good employee, you'll probably make a good entrepreneur, but you're gonna find that it's very hard to find people who are motivated about doing your business as you are. And if you find that person, you gotta treat them like gold, because everybody else is looking for that same person too, especially in this day and age. So if you got a good thing going on, entrepreneurship might not be for you, man. I don't think, and I'm talking in this video, but I'm talking to my homie. I'm gonna link this to him too, because he knows that I'm talking about him. Of course, I'm not about to say his name, but like, I know that he don't really realize what it is that he's up against when being an employee versus being an entrepreneur. All the pressure's on you. I had to change the oil in this today. That was $100, and I'm doing it myself. You see what I'm saying? Now, I could have just paid somebody to do it, but I might not get the quality of oil. The torque specs might not have been right on my drain pan. I have to trust that somebody's gonna do the job as good as me or better than me. And that's a road that most people ain't willing to go down, because it's very hard, and things get messed up along the way. And when you do find that one person, man, they're gold, do not get rid of them. And you won't know how hard it is to find that person until you go down this road. So this is a long, drawn out point, but just remember that you're trying to duplicate yourself and pay your duplicate less than what you're making. Now, not only that, you're trying to make a profit off of it. Might be better for you to just stay an employee, man, for real. See, when it's raining like this, right? There is no days off. There is no time off. There is no call in sick. You're working in this. If you're an employee, you can just say, hey, you know what? I can't do it right now. I'm just not feeling it. But you come up with some type of excuse. When you are the boss, you or somebody you employ has to do this. Keep that in mind, that there is no opportunities to say I can't, unless you just want to lose that revenue opportunity. And most entrepreneurs do not. That's what you got to go up against. Do you have the temperament to hire and fire? It takes a certain type of person to be able to say, yo, I need you. And it takes a certain type of person to say, yo, you are costing me more money than you're making me. You got to go. GPS is talking to me. If you don't have that thick skin to be able to deal with the societal pressures of hiring and firing, it might not be the road for you. Because see, at a job, for instance, you can be like, hey, I quit, I'm out, peace, give me my last check. And that might not happen. As a matter of fact, it might be that, it might be that somebody does that to you and say, hey, I'm out, I quit, peace, in the middle of a shift. And you're depending on this person. So just remember that the roles turn when you're the person that's cutting the check versus the person that's receiving the check. Please do not forget, there is the paperwork. You see, like towing, for instance. Towing is easy. Like, to actually get in the truck, pick somebody up, and go and tow the vehicle, super easy. Winching out, lockouts, which I'm gonna go do right now, fuel deliveries, all that, tire changes, super easy. What they don't talk to you about though is the paperwork. You see, this is a PO that's coming through an insurance company. This insurance company sends over this PO. Some people get paid net 7 days. Some people get paid net 30 days. And what that means is that you're gonna front the service and then get paid at a later date, especially for you all out there that's contracted. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So just imagine that you're having to juggle what you've done, what your employee has done, and any miscellaneous other stuff, and there's miles and miles of paperwork. Don't forget the taxes that you gotta pay. Don't forget the bank drops that you gotta report. Don't forget, you know, connecting your QuickBooks and everything else. There's tons and tons of paperwork. The job itself is easy. It's actually the back end of it that's a whole nother ball game. Don't forget that. Being an entrepreneur is cool, man. There's a lot of perks to being an entrepreneur. I love that I got family time. I can bring my kids with me, but it's not always ideal, especially in the territories that I've been taking over here lately. Is not very kid friendly. So just count the cost beforehand. Are you prepared mentally? Because you're gonna have to find people that have your same work ethic, your same skill set, with your same motivation, and you're gonna pay them less. You got finances in order, because it's gonna cost some bread to get these people running. I just don't think he knows what it takes, man. And I hate to see my homie get set up for failure. But for any of y'all out there who are looking to jump into the entrepreneur space, I'm not saying that you shouldn't, because I think that this is like, everybody's an entrepreneur at some point. For some, like, when you know, it's a choice. Whether you choose to work for somebody or you choose to go to work for yourself, it is a choice. And I choose to be an entrepreneur. Now, if you choose to be an entrepreneur too, and you want to go down this road, and let's say you want to learn this towing and roadside assistance game, give your man a shout. Email, link down below. Roadside Guide to Profits. Call, set up a consultation. I mean, I guess basically coaching, man, because there's a lot of things that people just don't do that they could. And, you know, and it's including myself too. I'm steady a student as I go, and I'm steady learning. I'm just trying to help people along the way that's trying to do the same thing. So if that sounds like you, and you want to go to the next level, and you're trying to figure some things out, you need a hand with it, give your man a shout. For everybody else out there, count the costs. Think about it before you dive in, man. I think I'm gonna leave it at that. Let's get back to sampling. I appreciate y'all tapping in. Questions, concerns, you know, leave them down below. Like, share, subscribe, and until next time, mi gente, peace. Pro mundo beneficio siempre. Peace.